Hello and welcome. Today we're going to be taking a look at using cats to power your adventure map mechanics. It's worth noting here that cats are actually the first mobile entity, the first mobs that we as map authors have at our disposal, which are attracted to specific blocks rather than specific entities, for example, the player or villagers. And so to demonstrate this, we have a bed here and a chest here, and we can activate cats to see what they go for. That one went for the chest, and that one didn't actually go for the bed, it just happened to jump on it. You can see it's not sitting there. But there you go, now it's there. And it's very useful because we don't have this functionality, we don't have this seeking functionality where we can place a block anywhere in the world, have it be persistent, and then have an entity walk toward that block. We don't have that in anything else yet. So cats are going to be very useful, I find, for the mechanics you're going to see at least in the next few minutes. So here we are in the sort of litterboxy cat dungeon, and of course we're going to be needing to use cats to progress through this dungeon. It's a very small one just to demonstrate what we have going on here, and the previous area you saw could be used as a sort of starting area where you choose your cat and that sort of thing. But of course you're going to need an ocelot dispenser as well as fish dispensers to actually make that happen. So all we have to do for this one is simply get a cat to this door. Very simple. We just get the cat, get near the door, have the cat go to the door, and eventually it will be attracted to a chest that I have on the other side, and it will open the door for us. And then eventually it might come out of that hole there, just for looks, because it's not really necessary to have a hole on both sides, but it looks interesting. And it's accomplished very simply just by having a chest and a couple pressure plates in front of the chest. You're going to want a couple because the cat can actually jump over a pressure plate and completely avoid it if it actually manages to jump on the chest. So I just like to have a little bit of extra security by having two pressure plates rather than one. Might not really be necessary in all cases. And that's just coming around here underneath them and activating one side of a single saved bit. And so you can see the power's off there on there, and it's powering this 2-block area here, which is right above our doors. So to demonstrate that, how that works, we can just flip that, you can hear the door closing, or maybe you can't, and there it's open again. Rather than taking this cat through, I just have another one set up here, and this cat is going to be going on a little bit of an adventure if the player chooses, because this is an interesting puzzle, just to demonstrate the kind of things you can do with this sort of mechanic that we have at our disposal now. This puzzle can be solved in two different ways. One way is that we can use the cat and have him sit here while we go elsewhere, and the cat would stay here forever. Or we can take the cat and have it sit there on that pressure plate, and we can go through this door instead, because this pressure plate is activated whenever, or this door is open whenever that pressure plate is activated when it's stood on, and when we stand on this, we have stairs that pop up there. So we can either push our cat, ooh, here's one, they both followed me in, alright, so we can push one of these cats onto this pressure plate, and that'll pop up these stairs. And I just threw a little Easter egg here. It's very nice, you know, but you can do something more elaborate, like an entire different story altogether, branching storylines and that sort of thing. But just for simplicity's purpose, just a little sign Easter egg. But the idea of the rest of the puzzle, the other way to solve it, is that we have water blocking off the area here, as well as a couple blocks attached to sticky pistons, and that opens it up there. So if we go around this side again, we can see that the cat can make its way here to this chest full of catnip, and then whenever it gets here, we can use that water again to push the cat onto this pressure plate, which will hold the door open for us. So now that we have one cat on here, which isn't really necessary, but there you go, we can activate the cat, and eventually you'll realize that the chest is full of catnip. Maybe it'll get a really good whiff, good wind, comes blowing across its face, and then it should take off running eventually. I might actually have to hold this because it's just pushing that other cat around, being a bully, but hopefully it'll get the picture. There it goes, taking off, and then we immediately step off and pull the plug and flush the cat down. Takes a little while because the cat resists, but eventually it will be broken, and when its spirit is broken, we will have our exit. There it goes, and we can actually turn the water off and get through. That way the cat can actually get through this area here if you want to keep your cat. And there you have another entire branching storyline altogether, although it doesn't really matter because the cat will teleport anyway. But this is here just to make it look more organic. Oh, well, there it goes. It just ran right back around. But there you have it. Branching storylines, much more interesting in this way, of course. Over here, where we just opened these doors, you can do that with just a lever, so it's not really necessary, but if you wanted a branching sort of kind of open-ended world maybe, and you can go get a cat elsewhere and then bring it back to a location, kind of in a Legend of Zelda sort of fashion, then that's actually a lot more useful than simply having a lever, of course, because you can control when the player has access to a dungeon and when they don't, provided that they don't cheat. So there you go. I will see you next time with a similar video, I think.